say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good afternoon and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School Wrestling. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined this afternoon by a good friend of Channel 8's Athletic Director Charlie King. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Charlie, today we're going to see the high school Bears take on Sayreville. East Brunswick comes in 5-0. I believe Sayreville is 5-3. And I guess my first question is, why so few dual matches for the Bears thus far? Is that normal?
It's normal. We normally start our season in December, John, with 2 tournaments. We participate in the Lion Classic in North Hunterdon in early December, right at the start of the season, and the Top of the East tournament over in South Brunswick right after the holidays, between Christmas and the New Year. So our wrestlers have wrestled probably as many times as Sayreville, but not in strictly dual meet competition.
Okay, first match will be at 103 pounds. Brian Mintz for East Brunswick against Brian Holcomb for Sayreville. And here we go.
Brian is a sophomore for East Brunswick, who has wrestled very well. I noticed the other night against Madison Central, he wasn't feeling very well and was defeated in a very tough match. He's had the flu most of the last week or so. So hopefully he's gotten over that and will give us a good performance today.
All right, they go out. They'll step back into the inner circle. This is our first look at the East Brunswick Bears this year. The wrestling team having an outstanding season, and as time permits, we'll talk a little bit about that season and about their new coaching staff.
That's a very interesting subject, that new coaching staff. They've done an outstanding job thus far this season. There's Brian with a takedown. That's 2 points on the takedown. He looked like he picked an ankle and was able to get his opponent off balance and get control. And when a wrestler is on top like that, when he takes his opponent down, it's 2 points. And if he's able to turn him on his back, there's another 2. And if he holds him, but he just rolled through that time. And you have to hold him for a 2 count before the points will be awarded.
All right, Mintz with a 2-point lead, 45 seconds to go in the first period. This is the first bout of the evening, or the afternoon rather.
For some of our viewers who might not be familiar, the wrestlers wrestle 3 periods of 2 minutes each. And as you can see, Brian has got his opponent in a difficult situation on his back, and looks like he'll be awarded 2 for near fall.
4-0. First period action down to 15 seconds.
It's amazing how much energy that takes. If you've never wrestled, it is truly amazing what kind of condition these young athletes have to be in to participate.
And that's it at the end of 1. Mintz on top, 4-0. It'll determine who's up on top.
No, actually, this year, John, it works a little differently. You can choose to be in a neutral position, on top or the bottom.
Okay.
And the other thing that's different this year in wrestling is it used to be the home team had to send their wrestlers out first. Now it's by flip of the coin, and it alternates each bout, which changes the strategy of, well, as you can see, he chose to be in control, but he let him up right away, which is 1 point for Sayreville. Obviously, Coach feels that Brian is better on his feet and can take his opponent down and gain 2-point advantage. That's why he lets him up in that situation.
And you see it right there. Mintz with the takedown, 2 points. His lead is now 8-1, second period.
And it looks like he's going to do the same thing. He has to put his hands on him, which indicates that he is in the control position, but he lets him up in the hopes of taking him down and gaining a point advantage.
I should point out before we go any further, you saw at the opening of the show the national anthem being sung by Beth Garfinkel. And we want to thank Beth for that beautiful rendition. And they're out, they'll come back in. Score 8-2, 1:16 left, second period. We're at 103 pounds, Mintz against Holcomb from Sayreville.
Now Holcomb has got Mintz's legs, and Mintz is trying to get loose from that, which that's a nice move, nice move. And Mintz now is taking him down, makes it 10-2. Usually when a wrestler secures a good hold on that leg, he's the one who has the takedown. In that case, Brian reversed the situation, doing an excellent job.
Mintz close to a pin here. Referee looking closely. 33 seconds, plenty of time. Holcomb rolls out of it.
And that's 3 points because he held him in that position beyond the 5-second period.
Down to 15 seconds in the second period.
Looks like he's in trouble again.
Holcomb struggling to keep away from the pin. 1 second. That'll be the end of the second period. Mintz in a commanding lead, 16-2.
The bout will be over, John, if the separation between the wrestlers becomes 15 points. It's the same as a pin. And that's a new rule within the last couple of years. So they start from the neutral position in the third period.
So if Mintz takes him down,
Mintz takes him down, it's over with. It's out of bounds, no points. Sometimes that's a very difficult call for an official on the out of bounds. The basic rule is if the points of balance for both wrestlers are out, there's no points awarded.
Mintz has the takedown, possibly. That should be it.
That's it.
So Brian Mintz with a commanding and big victory here to start off the match.
That gets us off to a 6-0 lead. It's the same as a pin. In years gone by, sometimes you'd see bouts of 32-1, and they'd really kind of punish people. And the reason for the rule was they figure once you get to 15 ahead, it's probably enough for the day. Right?
Yeah. All right, we'll go to 112 pounds with Greg Salzman for East Brunswick against Joe Figueroa from Sayreville. Try a little bit about Greg Salzman.
Greg is a junior who has been very unfortunate this season. Unfortunate in that every time we've wrestled, he's wound up with the toughest guys. 112 seems to be a very tough weight class. And Greg goes right after and takes him down. I was just going to say I'm really rooting for Greg today. He needs a little success. He works hard. I was talking to Coach Malonis before the match, and he said he's one of the hardest workers we have in a room, and he's just Some years it's 112, and other years it's one of the other weight classes. But he's been in with some buzzsaws this year. But he's in control here, 2-0.
Figueroa trying to get Salzman over.
See, looks like he's going to come out the back door now. Well, Greg's got his weight back now, and it looks like he's back in control. Figueroa seems very long for a 112-pounder. Long legs, which makes it difficult to keep him down there.
Inside a minute here, first period action. Salzman on top, 2-0.
See, the official is telling the wrestlers to move. The wrestler on top must move into a pinning combination. You can't lay back on the legs. You got to move. Well, he's back up on him now, so he's moving.
30 seconds.
That's one thing, John, that I'd like to see the officials be a little more consistent with that stalling call. We had a match here early against Cedar Ridge, and the stalling was called right away. Made the kids wrestle, which I think is great. And the other night, it seemed like stalling didn't exist against Madison. "13 seconds, and we'll go back to a restart with the Greg Salzman in control.
Salzman will be on top. Figueroa for Sayreville.
Tries to get up, but Greg executes a trip and gets him back down to the mat.
That's the end of the first period. Salzman holds on to that 2-0 lead. And Figueroa. And they'll start from a standing position.
Standing position. That was East Brunswick's choice. As I said, it rotates each match and each period. You get the opportunity for the choice. Oh, nice move.
Salzman with 2 more points.
Back in control. Sure.
Working the half, trying to turn Figueroa to his back.
We got a lot of coaches in the stands telling them which moves to make, and
that's the fun of high school wrestling.
It is. It certainly is. It's one of the highlights of it. The fan involvement. Everybody has got their opinion of what that wrestler should be doing out there. Sometimes when you're out there, it's not quite as easy as it is from the stands. He's got him back over. He's got at least 3, and he'll rock them back and forth. And they won't get additional points as long as that same combination exists.
Charlie, is Figueroa on the bottom obligated to make any movement, or can he
Yes,
just stay there?
he's got to try to get out of there too. He's in a pretty tough situation right now.
45 seconds. Salzman in the lead 4-0, but close to pinning Figueroa if he can just turn him a little bit more.
Figueroa is trying to survive right now.
It's going to be close. 30 seconds. Long time to go for Figueroa on the bottom.
They say once you start looking at those lights, John, you know you're in trouble. He's fighting though. Figueroa is a tough young man from Sayreville.
15 seconds.
He's running it now. He's got it in a little tighter now.
10 seconds. Can Greg hold on to him? That should do it. Second period. But Salzman will get 3 more points for a 7-0 lead as they go into the third and final period.
He actually, Figueroa actually came back over, and Salzman put him back down, but it was still part of that same combination, and therefore only 3 points and not 6 point is being awarded to Greg Salzman. Sayreville wrestler takes the control position.
If you don't think these young men are tired.
I'm tired watching them here. No. That last twisting, Figueroa's back was on the mat and his legs were on the other side, so he was in they have to be in great condition. Now, what Greg's got to do now is get out of there or reverse the control.
There he is. He sits out, trying to spin his way through.
He's got the leg there. See, he's got
control.
Nice muscle move.
2 more, 9-0.
And he's going for a cradle there, John. Figueroa's a little bit long for him.
Again, Salzman in command, looking for the pin. 50 seconds.
I'd like to turn him over and get it up to 12. Get a 5-point advantage.
And there's the stalemate you were talking about earlier.
Once the wrestlers cannot move in either direction, the official will break them and bring them back to the starting position. Now he's going to let him up, give him one, try to take him down.
So Figueroa will get 1 point. He trails 9-8 with 30 seconds to go in the match.
Nice. Looks like he's got it controlled again for 2 more.
That'll make it 11-1. Last 15 seconds. Greg Salzman against Joe Figueroa.
Wrestling has changed so much in the last couple of years. We used to have riding time. John, you remember that? No more riding time, which meant if you held your opponent in that position, you could gain an advantage and a point.
That's it. Greg Salzman with a 11-1 victory and the second consecutive winner for East Brunswick this afternoon. That'll make the team score now. What would 5 points for that?
5
John?
points, I believe.
Yeah, so it should be 11-0 East Brunswick.
Another big change this year, John, while we're waiting for the next bout to start. The weight classes. We now have 13 weight classes instead of 12, and Greg DeMarco was very instrumental nationally in getting that change about. And we added another weight class in the middle because his contention was, due to some scientific research, that that's where the wrestlers are. And it's really worked out to our advantage this year because we're pretty strong in the middle.
All right, we have at 119 pounds, Vinny Capodanno against Jeff Jablonski for Sayreville. And Vinny right away takes control and 2 points.
Vinny has wrestled very, very well this year. He had a big win for us on Wednesday night against Madison. And he got the whole thing started. And it was kind of downhill after Vinny got us off to the right foot.
One of 2 wrestling Capodanno brothers.
Wrestling Capodannos, yes.
By the way, East Brunswick received 4 points for that last win
4
from Greg
points.
Salzman, so it's 10-0.
I think that's what I was saying, 12, and that's the 5-point win.
And you see Vinny working not only the upper body, but the lower body as well, using his legs.
He's throwing a half in there, trying to get control.
There he is. He has the half on him, if he can turn him. Jablonski holding tight to Capodanno's leg.
He's got him in a pinning position now. He's got at least 2 points. He exposed his back to the mat. If he holds him there, it'll certainly be 3. And if he get those shoulders down, nope.
Lost him.
Lost him.
45 seconds to go. And 2 points for Jablonski. So we're tied at 2.
He's going to
I'm
give him
sorry,
3. It's going to be 5-2.
It was for, happened so quickly.
And Capodanno's back in control again and got him. I think the reason, John, they didn't give the Sayreville wrestler the 2 points was because Capodanno still had control of him by holding onto his leg. And unless there is complete control, they don't award the 2 points.
Okay, so it's 5-0 Capodanno with 10 seconds here in the first period.
2 more for Capodanno because of the exposing the back to the mat. He got him nice there.
So at the end of 1 period, it's Vinny Capodanno 7, Jeff Jablonski nothing.
Saved by the bell. They're very careful, John, in recent years, the officials are, of the overextension of the arms. You could see the official being very careful during that whole sequence of events that the Sayreville wrestler was not going to be injured to overstretch that muscle and dislocate it.
All right, they'll start the second period standing up. Capodanno with a 9-0 lead. And back in control once again for 2 more points. And we're up to 11. East Brunswick as a team in the lead, 10-0. We're in the third bout, 119 pounds. Vinny Capodanno for the Bears.
He looks like he's going to turn him. He's got that half in there. Well, no. It's going to come on from the other side. You can see there's a lot of pressure on those joints in the shoulder.
Vinny trying to roll him over.
So you can see his shoulders. Now he's got him in the tilt position. Several wrestlers are strong. Jablonowski's a strong young man. I mean, put yourself in that position and have somebody try to pushing you back down. He's really bridging, getting himself into trouble, though.
Pin. Capodanno with 49 seconds in the second period. Registers a pin against Jeff Jablonski.
Sometimes, John, when you try to move your way out of there, you just get yourself in a little bit deeper. And that was the case with Jablonowski. And Capodanno, again, another fine performance for the Bears.
Charlie, while we have a moment, why don't we talk about this coaching staff that is new to the East Brunswick fans this year?
Well, in November, we were kind of looking and searching, and sat down with Coach Cohn, who came in and said, we'd like to see what we could do with the wrestling program. And matter of fact, all 3 of the coaches wrestled at East Brunswick, and all graduates of East Brunswick High School. And Stu came in, and we talked a while, and I liked what I heard, and his philosophy and the way he was going to approach practice and the whole business. And we made that recommendation. Now we'll get back to the coaches. Let's get these wrestlers here.
All right, we're at 125 pounds. East Brunswick, I believe this is Chris McGowan.
No, that's not Chris.
Is that Cole? Joe Cole?
No, it's not Joe.
All right, that's the only names I have here.
No, it may be Mark Winter.
Okay. Against Bill Hughes from Sayreville. I think you're right, Joe. I think it's Mark Winter.
Yes.
Well, we've been informed that it's Keith Mayer.
Keith is a JV wrestler taking McGowan's place today. I might just mention that McGowan had a big win the other night against Madison, and we were hoping, we talked before the match, and coaches were hoping that we could get a win there, but Chris came through and continued that steamroller that got going with Capodanno's big win. So he's going to give him the day off today.
All right, this is Bill Hughes for Sayreville. He's in the lead, 2-0, 30 seconds to go in the first period. Team score, East Brunswick's on top, 16-0 thus far. And we're in, this is the 4th bout of the afternoon.
That's it, Keith.
Keith
There he
gets up
goes,
to his feet.
And a nice move. And out of bounds.
1 second to go here in the first period.
The balance required in wrestling is another thing in addition to the strength, a very important aspect of a wrestler, to have the proper balance. You saw Keith make a nice move to get to his feet and just hesitated for a second. And as a result of that, the Sayreville wrestler was able to grab the leg and get control and then trip him and get him back down to the mat. The skills are very difficult. And Coach Malonis, Nick Malonis, who is an All-American, there's the end of the first period.
So Hughes with a 2-0 lead as they get ready for the second period.
I was going to say Coach Malonis is our technician. He was an All-American at Montclair. He was named last year by the New Jersey Sports Writers as the Athlete of the Year at Montclair and throughout the state of New Jersey. And he's up on the latest techniques involved, and our wrestlers throughout the year have demonstrated the skills that he has taught them and done rather well. As you can see, 5-0, and this one certainly is going in the right direction at this point. So we're happy with Coach Malonis. He was quite a wrestler when he was here at East Brunswick. He was a state finalist and did an outstanding job. And the third member of the crew is, excuse me, John Mooney, who takes care of the conditioning. We've broken out the responsibilities a little bit, and basically they're all head coaches, but John Mooney specifically takes care of the conditioning. And as you can see, you have to be in great condition to participate in this sport. It's a big factor.
All right, this is Keith Meyer for East Brunswick against Bill Hughes, Sayreville, 125 pounds. Myers trails 2-0 as we start the second period. East Brunswick in the lead as a team, 16-0.
Just a comment about Sayreville. Several years ago, going into the second or third period, the Sayreville wrestlers may run out of gas, but Coach Len Zaleski has turned that program around, John, and done an outstanding job. You'll never see a Sayreville wrestler give anything but 100% and be ready to go at all times, which you can see in this bout here. This young man's in fine physical condition.
Hughes with the takedown, gets 2 points, make it 4-0, and he's close to pinning Myers.
He got that half in there quick. He's in trouble.
Myers fighting.
Nice move. That's a guts move there to get out of there.
And he rolled out of it. Hughes will pick up 3 more to make it 7-0.
It's so easy, John, to just kind of succumb to the pressure, and Keith just refused to and rolled through and got himself back in a good position here.
54 seconds, second period.
Sometimes wrestlers that have been wrestling JV, when they move up to the varsity, the level of competition is just a little bit tougher, but Keith is doing a very good job here. I was impressed with his conditioning and also his determination on that move, because most wrestlers would have been looking at the lights.
Yeah. As we said, Keith Myers, mainly a JV wrestler, seeing some varsity action this afternoon and doing a respectable job against a tough Sayreville opponent.
Yes, he is. It's all right, looks like he's going to get out here. Still got control of that wrist, though.
.15 seconds to go, second period.
So you can hear coaches from Sayreville Holland keep that wrist. We'd like to get that wrist out of there. And Keith would get back to his base and put some points on the board.
That'll do it. So at the end of 2, Hughes with a 7-0 lead, but in wrestling, 7 isn't a lot of points.
No, it's not. It can happen fast. You get a tilt and expose that back a little bit, and the points certainly add up. Let's see what's positioning. It looks like Keith is going to start on top this time in the control position. Now, it depends on how the wrestler is. Some wrestlers are better on their feet than they are on the mat. I was listening the other night, and John Ritke said, "Don't let John get near the mat. As long as he's on his feet, he's a terror." And he had a great match the other night. He lets him up for 1 point.
Hughes will take the 1 point to make it 8-0.
Now Keith has got to take him down. Once you let him up, you kind of put yourself in a position where you have to score the 2 points on the takedown.
And the strategy there is to give up 1 to get 2.
The referee was just indicating that it was 1 point for blue, and it was awarded on a board. I don't know if that score is correct or not, John. I think it's 8.
I think so too.
It was 7-0 at the end of the period, and the escape point of 1.
2 more given to Hughes.
It makes it 11, but I believe it's only 10. Way to fight through. Nice, Keith. That's an escape.
11-1 with 1:08 to go, third period action.
As you can possibly see, the scorer's table calling the official over, I believe, to correct that mistake. And my calculations is that it's 10-1.
And you see the official checking with the scorekeeper.
So there's 2 books. There's a home book and a visitor's books, and then you can see Mr. Emery, who also works the clock. And Coach Borden next to him puts the score up. So it would seem that with 4 people there, we ought to be able to get it right. And usually we do. It goes very fast when the action runs through. Well, score 1 for Channel 8.
So the score has been corrected. It is 10-1 in favor of Hughes from Sayreville. And now Coach Zaleski will call over the official. Charlie, is the 1 point really going to make a difference?
I don't believe so, John. But you always fight for everything that you think you have coming, and maybe a little more if you can get it. I don't think it'll make much difference today. 16-0 is the team score at this point, with 10-1. The Sayreville wrestler ahead at this juncture. Although there's 1 minute and 8 seconds in the 1 point, which they put back up. We'll have to see if we can clarify that. Coach was saying something about an escape that wasn't counted.
Now it's back to 11-1. Anyway, Myers, he's got him, looks like in a half or a headlock of some kind.
Yeah, he's...
Well, that discussion could be for naught here if Keith Myers can put him on his back.
We got the 2 points for the control, and he exposed the shoulder, and I believe he's going to get it 2 more, and hopefully puts him on the mat here.
He's got him for 35 seconds if he could hold him and turn him.
He's a little high. The Sayreville wrestler's legs are... Sayreville wrestler turned the wrong way that time, I thought. Well, here he comes coming through.
20 seconds. Myers will get 3, 11-6. And as we said, the points could come quick.
Maybe that 1 point will make it. No, I don't think so. Only 10 seconds.
Well, a fine job by Keith Myers nonetheless. And they'll come back out with 4 seconds.
That kind of effort in the third period certainly is an indication of the kind of conditioning that Coach Mooney has put his Chargers through here, and they're ready to go.
And Keith Myers comes back and with a respectable showing here. He loses 12-6, but he almost changed things around here in a hurry.
I was impressed, John. I really, that when a young man, first of all, if you're down 11-1, which he was, it's very easy to kind of try to survive and get through that third period and get off the mat and so forth. And Keith was not satisfied with that. He took the Sayreville wrestler down and also had him in a position where he almost put him away. So congratulations to Keith on a very, very fine showing this afternoon.
We'll go up to 130 pounds now. For Sayreville will be Chris Bagan. And for East Brunswick, I'm not sure who
Looks
they're
like Joe
gonna send out.
Colwell. Looks like Joey Colwell. I left here last night at 9:45, and I walk in the locker room on the way out to lock the door, and there's Greg Salzman and Joey Colwell. I said, "What are you guys doing here?" Well, can we step on the scale here? And they're checking their weight to make sure that they were at the proper weight. And when I came by, when I was here this morning about 9 o'clock, the two of them were here also. I said, "You guys didn't spend the night, did you?"
Cole and Bagan, 130 pounds.
Joey had a nice match the other night against Madison as well, and he's a senior, one of the captains, the co-captains of the team. He's a real leader. He's a very quiet young man, but he leads by example, and he's one of the hardest workers in the wrestling room every day, always on time, always makes weight, and fine young man.
Team score, East Brunswick 16, Sayreville 3. Cole against Bagan, 130 pounds. First period action here.
Joey's an experienced wrestler. He wrestled as a freshman, John, here at the high school. And he's been on the mat many, many times. He's got a tough young man here for Sayreville today. He's one of Sayreville's better wrestlers.
Strong-looking young man.
What they're doing is kind of feeling each other out here a little bit, trying to get the opponent to make a mistake and then to capitalize on it and take advantage of it. Chris shot there to try to, by shooting we mean the wrestler comes underneath the other young man and tries to grab a leg and get control that way. Shooting for the legs. That's a nice move, Joe. The problem is when you make that move, you also somehow got to keep your head up a little bit. Oh, look at him, that's experience.
There it is. Cole has Bagan on his back. 9 seconds in the period.
He's had his arm on the inside of him. If Joey could have got that on the other side of the arm, he had him dead. Put him
And that'll do it for the first period, but Cole with the lead 5-0 as they go into the second period.
See, that's another change too, John. You can defer. It was our choice, was East Brunswick's choice, and Colwell deferred to the Sayreville wrestler and gave him the choice, and he's going to take the down position. Obviously, if you take the down position, you believe that you can escape and get back to your feet and get into the neutral position. As we said earlier, some wrestlers are very good on their feet, and others are excellent when they get to the mat. That was a great move by Colwell in the end of that first period.
And as you said, there's where the experience comes in.
The experience. I've seen some very tough, strong young men go out there and wind up, my favorite phrase, looking at the lights, because they just haven't had the mat experience. And certainly Joe Colwell is one of our finest wrestlers, and he has the experience. He's still in control.
And he's still in the lead, 5-0.
Now he cannot just hold on to him and keep him to the mat. He must work to pin the Sayreville wrestler. He's letting his weight get away from him.
And
Again, that's experience, John, because most wrestlers, if they were in that position, would have lost it and either been reversed or at least allowed the Sayreville wrestler to go to the neutral position. And Joey's been out there, I would say, several hundred times.
Cole in control, as you can see, with 40 seconds to go, second period. He's in the lead, 5-0.
That's why it's very important for a young man, if he's interested in wrestling, John, to get an early start. I mean, they don't have to be extremely competitive that early, but to get the feel of the mat and to learn some of the basic movements, it's a tremendous advantage. And we do have a wrestling club which runs a recreation program which starts with the younger grades and moves right on through 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we also have an 8th grade team that competes for Churchill, as well as a freshman team which competed here earlier today with the JVs.
All right, Cole will go into the third period with that 5-0 lead against Chris Bagan. And you can see the wrestlers don't get much of a break in between periods.
No, they put them right back out there. Sometimes you see these guys tying their shoelaces and kind of stalling. I was talking to a couple of our wrestling fans the other night, and they said, matter of fact, a couple of young men that had wrestled for us in the 70s, and they said, boy, if I couldn't have stopped to tie my shoelaces. I had Mike Burrell I was talking to, and he said, oh, if I couldn't have had that few seconds to get my shoelaces tied. And then we said, well, maybe they'll come to those Velcro ones. You just snap them right on. He said, oh, that's bad news.
Cole pretty much giving Bagan here a lesson. Although it's only 5-0, he's been in control since the opening of this bout.
One thing that Joey could work on, and that I felt for a number of the last couple of years, is he could be a little stronger, physically stronger.
And a reverse from Bagan, 5-2. Sometimes you need to keep working out there.
You got to work all the time, and Joey got just a little bit careless, I think, and let it slip away from him. But I never worry when Joe Cole holds on the mat. Not a criticism of him,
No.
but I think that he, if he were a little stronger, he's not a pinner. Some wrestlers are pinners, and they can put you on the back. He can execute most every move, and very durable. There he goes.
There he goes with the reverse. 5-2 becomes 7-2 now, Cole, with 15 seconds to go in the match.
And as you saw, it appeared as though the Sayreville wrestler was in control, was going to expose Koval's back, and again, that experience and determination, he just slid right through on him.
And that should do it. Joe Cole with the 7-2 victory. Charlie, while we have a moment, and we look at Cole coming off the mat, the tradition here in terms of East Brunswick wrestling started way back with Jay Doyle. As you know, you've obviously kept that tradition, enhanced it considerably. That's almost like another man on the team.
That's true, John. An East Brunswick wrestler has a certain code of ethics and a certain standard that he must live up to. And as you said, Coach Doyle, who was the first wrestling coach and athletic director at East Brunswick, insisted upon that. No matter what, I mean, if you get yourself pinned or what have you, you get up and shake hands and conduct yourself as a gentleman. If we get a chance later, we'll take a look at the bench possibly. You'll see the coaches well dressed. Coach Doyle used to be able to sit on that bench throughout the match Unbelievable. And never scream or holler, or always conducted himself with that dignity that we've come to expect from all the East Brunswick wrestlers and coaches.
We're at 135 pounds. This is Ramon Leak from Sayreville, and I believe this is Mark Winter.
Yes, I think we've got the right one
We
this
got
time.
we got it all cleaned
I'm
up.
a little embarrassed that we didn't recognize Keith Meyer, rather, and he did a great job.
No, I'm sorry, 2-0. Winter in the lead with 50 seconds to go in the first period.
Oh, you see the Sayreville wrestler with a mouthpiece, which is mandatory in football and in field hockey. Girls field hockey is mandatory that you have a mouthpiece. It's used to prevent biting of the tongue.
Headgear now is mandatory as well, isn't it?
Yes, headgear is a must. The ears are very sensitive, and the headgears are used to protect those ears from being almost ripped off sometimes. If you've ever seen a cauliflower ear, what they call a cauliflower ear, it's a very uncomfortable and painful thing. Walter Toto had one earlier, and it's subsided somewhat, but he was in a great deal of pain.
You see Winter trying to drive Leak.
He's running that half in there. He's got Leak in some difficulty.
He's got 2 seconds to turn him in this period. That'll be it after one. Winter with a 2-0 lead.
That was East Brunswick choice, and we chose to take the neutral position. Both wrestlers will start in the standing position, just as they do at the start of the bout in the first period. That's one of the only disadvantages of a headgear, John, is that sometimes they will get down over the eyes, that piece that holds them on the top. They're called halo, Cliff Keen, I guess, halo style. We're looking at a couple of different styles possibly for purchase next year that are a little bit more secure on the head area.
This is Winter and Leak
Still
at 135 pounds.
Still in a neutral position, and Winter shoots, tries to grab a leg.
And he'll take
Nice.
2.
Nice double leg right into the crotch with the head, and nice move to take him down.
4-0 now. Winter on top. Second period action. East Brunswick as a team on top, 19-3. And Leak reverses for 2, so it's a 4-2 score at the moment.
Mark is a JV wrestler, also moved up for today.
We're at 135 pounds. Mark Winter for East Brunswick against Ramon Leak.
Mark trying to escape. He's got to get off the mat and onto his knees and up into his base position so he can get out of there.
And he'll come back to the center with 31 seconds, second period. 4-2 score, Winter on top.
You can see how the wrestler gets his down in that crouch position, and so he can force those legs up out of there. And that first move is so important. I've seen wrestlers here in the past that were so quick, they'd be out of there and up on their feet before the other wrestler could react at all. And Mark did a pretty nice job there as well. He's got to perfect that move a little bit.
That brings to mind former East Brunswick High School coach Jimmy Young, who was a master at that.
Jimmy was one of the toughest guys I've ever seen on a mat. He was perpetual motion. No matter who he wrestled, I don't think he ever had any fear of any wrestler he ever wrestled. He was aggressive, quick, and a state champion.
All right, so we go to the final 2 minutes of this bout. Mark Winter on top, 4-2, but he's having his hands full with Ramon Leake.
Now he's going to let him up, which gave up a point.
4-3 Winter, but he may be in trouble. Leake has his leg. Will they give it to him? Nope.
No, they're not going to give it to him, but what I was fearful that they might give him was a point for pulling off the mat. It's all right if your momentum and everything takes you off the mat, but if you leave the mat to escape the action, the official can warn you it's going to be a stalling, and they can then give a point.
This match is heating up. 1 point separates Mark Winter from Ramon Leake. A minute 33 to go, final period.
There goes his mouthpiece off to the side. Ah, that's a good move. Come on, Mark, up your base.
Has one leg. Can he take him down?
He's going to trip him.
He needs to gain control.
If he can get that leg over on top of him, he's going to be. Let him back up.
And you hear the crowd.
Coaches holler, and the Sayreville coach Lenny Zaleski's holler, get your two. But Mark's got a pretty tight hold at the moment on that leg.
We'll see if a stalemate. So with 57 seconds and a 1 point lead, the official will bring him back in a standing position.
That's a judgment call, John, on the part of the official. I mean, obviously there was a stalemate, but some of them, there's not a set amount of time in which they leave him in that stalemate position. Some officials call it right away, and others will allow it to go 5, maybe even 10 seconds. But if they're not getting anywhere, then they call it and get him back to the starting position. Mark's got to get his head up. Mark's got to get his head up there.
35 seconds.
He's got that arm behind him. He's got to keep it there.
Everyone's screaming now in the gym with 25 seconds.
Well, and he took him down there.
And Leake reverses him for a 5-4 lead. 18 seconds. Mark's got to get to his feet to try to escape at best. Can he get up?
He's working hard, but time's running out on him here.
3 seconds. And that should do it. And a nice come from behind victory for Ramon Leake. 5-4. And as you see the wrestlers and the official raising Leake's hand, if Dave, our cameraman, could just pan a little bit to the right of the mat and to the third row, you'll see.
Oh, that gentleman right there.
Gentleman,
I know
Rick
him.
Ronchi and his wife. And
what a great person. Both of them. Mr. and Mrs. Ronchi have been involved with athletics from the opening go here at East Brunswick. Over 25 years. Rick organizes and does all the work in our refreshment stands in the fall in football, and he's here every home basketball game and runs the refreshment stand. He and his wife both, the whole family for that matter, have made a great contribution to East Brunswick athletics.
We're at,
excuse me, you have Dave Goldstein, I think.
Dave Goldstein at 140 pounds against RJ Ariel.
David's tough. David's tough. As you can see, just picked him up and gained control and just trying to expose his shoulders to the mat.
You can see the strength of Goldstein.
Goldstein, yeah, that's a little bit of an unusual move. Just watching the neck there. Okay, Sayreville wrestles in trouble. Goldstein's like a tiger when he gets out there.
Goldstein with the Mike Tyson look, no socks
Yeah, the other night he went off the mat, and as Madison wrestler was on top of him, hit his head on the floor. I says, "Oh, I didn't know if it was serious or not." And he did have a little egg on the.
Pin, Goldstein pins him with 55 seconds left in the first period.
1:05, a minute and 5 seconds, and was in control throughout. He's a class wrestler.
So quickly, Goldstein does away with RJ Ariel, and we'll go to the 145-pound match. That will be John Fabriel for East Brunswick against Rich Malaspina for Sayreville.
Goldstein, just to get back to that just for a second, that injury occurred to him in the start of the third period, and took a little bit out of him, and he hung in there and won the match against his opponent from Madison, which took a lot of courage, and he is one of our fine wrestlers. That middleweight classes, as I said, John, we get started there with Kowal and McGowan and Goldstein and Toto, and I think we can compete with anybody in the state with those weight classes.
Well, speaking of the state, just last week, East Brunswick High School varsity wrestling team was ranked first in the coaches poll of state high school teams.
Right, and Region 5, and that's a tough region. Region we're in with Hunterdon Central and North Hunterdon, some real fine teams. And to be rated #1 by the coaches, it's a PowerPoint system, which it's not a popularity contest.
Fabriel right away with the half or a headlock. I can't see from this vantage point.
I think he's got the headlock there, yeah.
Okay.
He's got to watch his balance. Yeah, lost control.
Malaspina with the 2 points and takes the early lead here in the first period of this bout.
So while John had the headlock, the Sayreville wrestler also had an arm around him, so there were no points awarded for John. It looked to me like he had possibly a takedown, but they did not award the points for him. John's a very, very hard worker, too. An excellent wrestler. Rolled right through.
You can see Malaspina is heavily bandaged around his right shoulder.
John was, the move he just made before there looked like he was in trouble, and that experience just popped right through, and because if he had hesitated for just a split second, he would have been flat on his back and been in trouble. But John's in a tough weight class this year.
We're tied at 2 with 4 seconds to go in the first period.
And he hasn't wrestled as a result of that. He hasn't wrestled as much varsity competition as I'm sure he would like. But he's a tremendous asset to the team. He's a student of the game. He wrestles, I think, year-round. Lives, eats, and sleeps wrestling, and it shows. It'll pay off for him.
Well, he's only a junior.
When he's going to be back, he's going to be one of the stars next year. And he's a contributor at this point, but he's in with several other wrestlers which you have at that weight class, and that's happens to be one of our strengths right there.
Start the second period. We're tied at 2. John Fabriel for East Brunswick against Rich Malaspina from Sayreville.
Wrestling is the only sport, you were mentioning the state rankings, John, before, where PowerPoints are utilized to determine which teams are selected to participate in the team championships. And it's not necessarily by group as it is in the playoffs are by group, but the points are not awarded by group as they are in football. Some of your smaller schools have had traditionally strong wrestling programs, and if you can go in there and beat one of those powerhouses, there are points awarded for that. So the coaches come up with that system, and it seems to put the best against the best each year. And we're looking forward to those team championships, which will be coming up in February.
All right, Fabriel gets a point for an escape and leads 3-2.
I believe, John, they're the week of February 15th. The team championships are conducted.
And I would urge anyone in East Brunswick that would like to see some exciting action to come out and see this varsity wrestling team. .50 seconds to go here in the second period. East Brunswick team-wise on top 25-6.
John is up 3-2 and both in a neutral position. What John's got to try to do is get control here. A little bit, he's got to drive it in there or get out, one or the other. Nice, suck up that leg. He's got to get his head up.
Gabrielle on the bottom.
He's in trouble there.
And 2 points given to Malaspina, who takes the lead, 4-3. Three seconds left in the second period. That'll do it. So they'll go to the final 2 minutes. Malaspina on top, 4-3. We're at 145 pounds.
When you make that move, when John went in and grabbed the leg, you have to finish the move. It seemed as though he hesitated a little bit, got his head down slightly, and allowed the Sayreville wrestler just a second to recoup, and he was able to, as a result, gain control. So once you shoot in there, you got to go in tough and finish it off, and I don't think John finished that one off.
Trailing by 1, he's on top.
Now what John has to do when you're on top, you have to work for a pin and try to expose the other wrestler's shoulders to the mat. A strong young man from Sayreville.
Yeah. Apparently that injury isn't affecting him at all. And they're out. And they'll start over. Minute 26 left in this match.
It's interesting, John, as we move up the weight classes, when those big guys start going down on the mat, just a few thuds. And the little guys are just so quick. Coach Zaleski doesn't sound too happy with his wrestler.
One of the few sports where even the coach can stand up and yell and scream instructions.
That's true. The old basketball rule, the bench rule was put in 2 years ago, where the coaches in basketball must stay seated and not allowed to holler at the official.
Gabrielle trying to maintain control, and he's got Malaspina to his back, exposed the shoulders. Will they give him anything?
I don't know. He might have just said he rolled through, and that shoulder was half off the mat, I think.
I think you're right, Charlie. No points have been awarded. So Fabrielle is still down by a point, 4-3 with 39 seconds to go in the match.
That's a tough break. That's a lot of hard work and no points for it. So John's got 39 seconds to turn his opponent's shoulders to the mat and gain 2, or to hold them there and possibly gain 3. That's the only way he can score. Or he could, if he thought he could take him down, John, he could let him go, give the Sayreville wrestler 1, and then go for the takedown, which would give him a tie. I'm sure John's not going to be satisfied with a tie.
29 seconds.
I've been impressed with both teams, John, with their conditioning. I mean, we're deep into this third period, and both wrestlers are still working very hard and going at it.
Well, I think it says something about the quality of athletics, too, in the GMC. We've seen it in basketball and soccer and football. I don't think you can find it much better anywhere in the state, Charlie, quite honestly.
I don't think so either, although I've been accused of being prejudiced when it comes to some things that GMC does.
Well, Fabrielle loses a tough one, 4-3.
I think the 3 losses today have been all close. 12-6 with Keith coming back, and we lost another 1-point bout, and John again here by 1 point, 4-3.
We go to 152 pounds, and Walt Toto against Steve Evanego, I believe is how you pronounce it. And what can you say about Walt Toto?
Oh, I could talk about Walt Toto all day. He's an outstanding wrestler, one of the captains of the team, undefeated wrestler, state qualifier last year, district champ. We're looking for this young man to possibly hang up another one of those state championships for East Brunswick. He's a quality wrestler and certainly a quality young man. Toto's, he's the last one, I believe, of the Toto clan. Yeah. It seems like there's been about 20 of them. I wish there were 20 more. He's quick. He's got all the moves. In great condition. He's got a great attitude. Again, in the wrestling room, he's like a coach on the mat. And I think that's one of the very fine things that Coach Cohn has done since taking over the team. He expects his seniors, his captains, to be leaders and to assist with the practice and assist with any wrestlers that may not be doing exactly what he wants them to do. And that kind of leadership is essential to a good team. Walter's got him in trouble now.
He's leading 2-0, and he pins him. 55 seconds of the first period.
Still undefeated.
Walt Toto.
The Sayreville wrestler is shaking his head.
He shouldn't feel bad.
Coach Zaleski was, I think he was pleased. The young man put forth a fine effort. You're up against one of the finest wrestlers in Walter Toto in the state of New Jersey at that weight class.
We're at 160, and I believe this is Rob Perez.
Yes, Rob Perez.
Against Norman Laferge. Perez is a tough character.
Yes, he had a nice, I keep going back to that Madison match. I had once, I told the boys early in the season when it looked like maybe I was going to be the coach at one point. No, not really. The season would be a success if we beat Madison. That was the one thing we wanted to accomplish this year, or that I wanted to see them accomplish. I know they wanted it too. Of course, after we beat Madison, I said, gee, did I really say that? I thought it was South Plainfield that we wanted to beat. And that's coming up next week.
Coming up, a big match for the Bears.
I think next Wednesday we have Woodbridge here on Tuesday, and then Wednesday night we go to South Plainfield. That's an excellent wrestling team.
And right away, Perez takes a 2-0 lead. 160 pounds.
He's got him in there pretty tight. He's going to try to suck that shoulder in and turn him over. Although the Sayreville wrestler is fighting that move. I think if Rob switched it and brought him back the other way, he could possibly turn him to his back. He's got him in a cradle. He's got him in a cradle. He's got him pretty tight, it looks like.
55 seconds. This is going to be tough for Laferge to fight his way out of this. And he does it, to his credit. Perez will get 3 more to make it 5-0.
See, Rob is a very strong young man, and that takes a great deal of strength. The problem I think he had with it is the Sayreville wrestler is very long, and Rob is not dunking many basketballs these days. And that's when you get a long wrestler. Oh, he's lost his. Oh, he's back in control.
15 seconds here in the first period.
Five nothing. What the official is counting with the motion with the hand is the action must be continuous. And I think he was about ready to warn possibly the Sayreville wrestler for delaying the bout, or as we call it, stalling.
So we'll go to the second period. Perez on top 5-0. Team score, East Brunswick 31, Sayreville 9.
Rob took the down position, and this is really the defensive position. He must feel that he can pop out of there and that this young man won't be able to hold him down.
LaFerge on top.
As I said, some wrestlers like to wrestle on the mat, and others are very good on their feet. Rob likes, if taking that defensive position, it would indicate that he likes to be on the mat. Official is clasping his hands. That's an illegal move.
So 1 point will be given to Perez.
When a wrestler, that's illegal to clasp your hands together, and when that is detected, it's a point for your opponent. And the official is explaining when he gets into that offensive position, he must be back and not up completely on Perez's back. Oh.
And they roll out. Second period action, 160 pounds. Rob Perez against Norm LaFerge. East Brunswick Sayreville, Saturday afternoon wrestling.
I think there's still some people out there that think wrestling is those guys that get in the ring.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking the same thing.
The Hulk Hogan and so forth. There's an escape by Rob.
7-1.
7-0. Excuse me. Now this is the real thing, folks.
And you talk about an intermission in wrestling or halftime.
No intermissions. Continuous action, 13 straight bouts. As I said, last year there were 12, and this is the first year that we've had 13, which has worked out great for East Brunswick this year. It's a great rule change. Somebody trying to gain control. Like another Mike Tyson there with no socks on. I don't know. Maybe we can't afford socks here in East Brunswick.
I was going to ask that question.
It's funny. I think sometimes they just feel comfortable, more comfortable without them. And maybe they wrestled once without them and won, and that's kind of superstitious. Got to keep things going in the right direction.
A question, Charlie. That
it was a takedown, John.
Yeah.
And 2 points makes it 9-0 with 23 seconds remaining.
Does the athletic department provide those shoes to the wrestlers, or are they individually bought by the wrestlers?
No, the shoes are individually bought. We supply the singlets, which they wear, and the headgears. Although some of them like to go out and buy real fancy headgears, or a different style than we might provide feels more comfortable on them. But no, the wrestlers provide their own shoes. As you can see, some of them are blue and some are red.
14 seconds to go, second period. Rob Perez with a commanding 9-0 lead over Norm LaFerge, 160 pounds.
Rob has had a real good season so far. We're very impressed with the senior. He's just contributed a great deal to the team this year.
So we'll go to the last 2 minutes. Rob Perez pretty much having his way here. Team score, East Brunswick 31, Sayreville 9, as we mentioned before. And it's one of the few sports where you have both a team activity and an individual activity.
That's true, John. Yeah, it's everybody. I think it's a great sport. I honestly think it's one of the finest sports. It gives the little guy and the big guys an equal opportunity to contribute to the team effort. It certainly is an individual sport, but that team aspect to it is tremendous. And Rob is contributing to the team's efforts right here. I've watched him wrestle for since he's been here at the high school, and he just seems to get better with every bout. This year he's wrestling with a lot of confidence, and He's one of those young men that if we're going to ultimately be successful throughout the season, he's going to make a major contribution, which he has thus far. And that's why we're sitting here 5-0, and from the looks of the score, we're going to be 6-0. And it's 9-0 with 1:26 remaining.
And Rob has a brother, and both of them are part of the football team. That's where I know
They
them
were
from.
introduced the other day as cousins at Madison, but I believe it's brothers. I can't tell the two of them apart. I thought it'd be a good idea if we they could just swap uniforms, keep the same guy out on the mat here, make a switch. Now they've made major contributions to the program this year, and as I said, they just keep getting better every minute. He's trying to turn him over here. He's going to run the other side. See, the officials watching that elbow. They can hyperextend that elbow very easily.
And they're going to call a dangerous position.
Yes.
So 34 seconds remaining in the bout. Again, Rob Perez on top, 9-0.
What Rob is going to try to do here, I think, is break him down and try to turn him as quickly as possible. Oh, his head came up. The Sayreville wrestler's head came up, and Rob got it right in the eye. He's got it. He's got it if he's got enough time.
Trying to get
here.
the half.
Yeah. He's got 19
15 seconds now. Can he do it?
He's got to get his feet and get a little balance so he can get a little leverage on that move.
5 seconds.
Close.
And he won't be able to do it, but a fine 9-0 win for Rob Perez.
Rob is rubbing his eye there. He got an accidental butting, I guess, right in the eye. Probably a black eye tomorrow.
Looks like the kind of kid that would like one.
Yeah, I think he would. He's a tough-looking guy anyway. A black eye would make him look mean.
And we go to 171 pounds, and now we're getting to the big boys. For East Brunswick, John Ricky.
A football player too, John.
And for Sayreville, a familiar name for them, Bouchard. This time it's Phil Bouchard.
He's tough. He's tough, just like his brother was. Yeah. No, John put the finishing touches on the other night against Madison, was victorious. And clinched. He put the clinching. He added the clinching points for the team to beat Madison the other night. It's a great win for him. He's got a tough guy today, though. This Bouchard is very tough. I'm glad I'm sitting here and I'm not out there on the mat.
Bouchard will get 2.
You can see how aggressive he is. Confident that he can utilize his skills and strength. John's a pretty tough young man himself. He's not going to give up too much of anything.
East Brunswick on top team-wise, 35-9. We're at 171 pounds. Ricky against Bouchard.
I recall against Cedar Ridge a couple weeks ago, John had another tough guy and was in a little trouble in the third period and just gutsed it out to hang right in there. And you can count on him giving you 110% all the time. And I think that's the kind of effort we'll see here today. Although he's down 2-0 to Bouchard. His brother was a tough young man.
Oh, yeah.
He came over here when he was a senior, I think, and he's going to go against another guy that wasn't too good, but it's Glenn Pazenko. And
I remember that match. We covered that match.
yes, I think you did, John.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Had Glenn in the first period. He had him on his back, and I don't know how Glenn ever got out of there, but it wasn't long, and Pazenko had him on his back and pinned him, and Bouchard was in a state of shock. And I think so were the rest. The rest of us were in a little bit of shock that Glenn was able to come off the mat and pin him. Glenn's doing very well at the University of North Carolina, wrestling for them at 170 pounds, I believe.
That'll end the first period. Bouchard with a 2-0 advantage. And it's been a struggle. Bouchard will stay down. Ricky will be on top.
Getting back just a second to Glenn Pazenko, he was a runner-up in the state championships in his senior year here, and was just an outstanding student athlete. He was an excellent student as well.
And there's another Pazenko, I understand, Matt.
Yeah, Matt Pazenko. He's a freshman, and he's on the wrestling squad. He's wrestled some varsity, wrestles JV. Is, in my opinion, going to be an excellent wrestler, excellent football player, and he also is a track athlete. So he's 3 sports, trying to fall on that pattern established by Glenn. And I understand he's a pretty good student, so. He's got some big shoes to fill, but he's working his way to do that.
We're in the second period, Ricky and Bouchard. Bouchard with a 3-0 lead now.
An escape on that. He's nice, got a nice, Bouchard has an excellent build on him. He's lean and long, and that's a tough combination in wrestling. John.
Yeah, John missed the head.
That's tough. When you get up there around that head, there's not much to hold on to sometimes.
5-0 now, Bouchard.
I know John wants to get out of here. That position, officials motioning that they should continue the action. And what he's looking for John, the bottom wrestler in this case, to try to escape and keep moving.
35 seconds to go in the period.
John, we've seen almost continuous action today. Rarely do you see every bout a situation where no one is trying to stall, and we're getting a warning to the East Brunswick wrestler, John Ricky, to continue the action. And oh, that's tough. See, he started through, and it's a move where you have to come all the way through quickly, and he just hesitated a second.
So they'll get ready for the last 2 minutes. Ricky and Bouchard. Bouchard on top, 5-0.
The team score 35-9. Of course, it's out of reach at this point for Sayreville, but Bouchard has given him a good effort here against John Ricky. Okay. I'm sorry, John, I'm rooting just a little bit here. I start twisting my head, and
I don't know how you can help not doing that. You get so caught up in the action.
yeah, I usually stand over there underneath the scoreboard and bend and move and try to anticipate the moves. Bouchard back in with a takedown of 2 points, making it 7-0. It's 1:28 remaining in the third period. Now, the next time that John is warned or is called for stalling, there will be a point assessed or given to the Sayreville wrestler. You get 1 warning, then a point, and if it happens again, an additional point, and then you can be disqualified from the bout.
Bouchard trying to turn Ricky over. 55 seconds.
He's got him pretty tight around that Don't think for a minute that doesn't hurt when that big arm comes around your face. And he just seems to let it go once in a while and gives him that cross face. I'm not saying that's intentional or a dirty thing. It's part of the wrestling and it's
sport.
Part of the sport, and it hurts. Oh, nice
Ricky,
move,
can
John.
he reverse
Nice
him?
move.
Grab the head. 23 seconds.
Oh,
Ricky reverses Bouchard. He's got his back to the mat.
come on, John. He's got
He's
a lot.
got to squeeze it. 10 seconds.
He's got him pretty tight, John.
See if he can do it.
Bouchard's awful strong. Nice.
Good attempt, though, by Ricky. And that'll do it. 7-5 the final.
Oh, that was a nice bout.
And it'll give Bouchard 1.85 as the final score. But a good bout.
Well, you saw the kind of effort that John, there's shaking hands with coaches. That's a tradition also in East Brunswick. When you come off the mat, whether or not you win or lose, there's a handshake from the coach and a little pat on the back. We have Mike Beckman talking to Coach Malonis, getting ready to go. I hope Michael's ready to go here. He took his SATs this morning.
Okay, we're at 189 as the senior Mike Beckman for East Brunswick against Sean O'Donnell for Sayreville.
Mike had a big win against Madison the other night as well. Did an excellent job. He's also a baseball player. As I said, he had his SATs this morning. He was worried about not making the weigh-ins, but we were able to make arrangements to get that done. The big boys, a lot more power moves. They gotta show the people in the stands that they can muscle these guys around here.
It's just strength.
It's a little different style, as I said before. The bigger guys maybe aren't quite as quick as your 101 pounders and 103 or whatever. But certainly much.
O'Donnell will get 2 for the takedown.
He's got him pretty tight there, too.
And a clasp is going to be called against O'Donnell. 1 point given to Beckman. And
Coach Zaleski's coming over for a word with the
conference
official.
here. Talking about that clasp hold. Can you clasp in a pinning combination? There are some nuances with the clasp, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
I don't believe you can. You can clasp on a. The only time I've seen the clasp allowed is on the. I'm trying to think of the name of the move, but there are some occasions when it does. But when you use it to gain an advantage, which apparently the Sayreville wrestler did there, they won't allow that.
We're tied at 2.
Coach Zaleski wasn't very happy with that. They do allow the coaches to come to the table, and some officials will allow them to come to the table and ask a question. But if it becomes in any way argumentative, they can deduct a team point from the team.
Well-organized sport in terms of the rules and procedures.
Yes, and we're getting an excellent officiating job here today. I'm not familiar with this official. He hasn't worked here at East Brunswick before, but he's certainly doing an excellent job. He's been very consistent throughout and that's what you really look for, to be consistent with both teams and from one bout to the next, so that the young men know what he's going to do. If he's called stalling quickly, I mean, it's you have to know that. You wrestle accordingly.
Sure. 3 seconds to go in the period. We're tied at 2.
Matter of fact, he looks like he might have wrestled himself a little bit.
So we'll go to the second period. Beckman and O'Donnell. Team score, East Brunswick 35, Sayreville 12. So there really isn't a contest here in terms of the team score.
Now with this bout and one more to follow, the heavyweight bout, the most that Sayreville could is 12 points, which would make it 35 to 24. We're not expecting that to happen, but so for all intents and purposes, the team score has been determined at this point, or at least the winner. And that's why it's an interesting sport, as we've said before, because even though East Brunswick has won this match, Mike Beckman is not going out there laying on the mat, and he's working very hard. 2-2 tied at this point with what, 147 to go in the second period.
I think the other thing too, Charlie, with wrestling is that there's someone behind every wrestler, and that they really have to win the opportunity to wrestle varsity during the week.
That's how the lineup is determined. Once we get into the season, it doesn't occur every week, but if I'm in the same, you and I are in the same weight class, and I can challenge you and say, I may be the JV wrestler, but I say, Coach, I think I can beat John, and a match is arranged, and whoever wins becomes the varsity wrestler. It's a great way to do it.
Well, it doesn't allow anyone to rest on the laurels. They have to go out there and prove it each week and put out the effort.
That's true, and it's also a little bit easier on a coach. When you're making that decision, and as in basketball or so, and football and so forth, where you don't have that head-to-head type competition, it's judgmental, and sometimes we get second guessed.
Sure.
Can't remember when, but it must be a couple of times. Michael's back out to gain a 3-2 advantage.
Mike Beckman giving his all. He's got a tough character here in O'Donnell.
Yes, and you can hear the fans in the background hollering to take him down. They want him to shoot. And I guess the comment was up and down. Wrestlers have their own language. Michael looks like he's gonna, if he can just spin, get behind him, he'll have 2 points because he'd be in control. No,
unable to do it.
Sayreville wrestler knew where he was on the mat that time, John, and was able to work his way back off of it to get back to a even position, because it looked like he was about to be taken down by Michael, which would have been a 2-point score.
Second period action here. 189 pounds. Beckman against O'Donnell. Mike is the senior. And you see him hitting heads as well, button heads, and both looking for an advantage here to grab a leg, try to shoot in.
Oh.
And O'Donnell tried to roll Beckman. Didn't work.
Well, it was a good quick move, but Beckman was ready for it. A lot of strength.
.11 seconds. And that should just about do it. Second period action.
I repeat myself, but I can't help but say this again. You cannot imagine how much energy it takes to go out there and wrestle for 2 minutes and 3 2-minute periods. It's an exhausting sport. And let me tell you another thing, if you're not in condition, it's over pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of why I stayed with gymnastics.
Yeah.
And it's no different depending on what weight class you're in either. 6
That's
minutes is 6 minutes.
6 minutes is 6 minutes, and you have to be in shape. Again, a tribute to the fine coaching, young coaching staff that we have. They've done a tremendous job Coach Cohn is one of the best organized young men that I've come across, and I said to somebody the other night, matter of fact, I think I'm going to have him come in here and give a clinic to some of our existing old timers, if you will, on how to organize. He's a businessman, and he does an outstanding job. He's on top of everything. Some days I go in and we have different conversations, and I'll say, well, how about this? Well, I've already taken care of that. So he's usually about 3 steps ahead of me as well. So it's really a pleasure having him and Coach Malonis and Coach Mooney as part of this staff. And as you can see, they're off to what's appears to be, certainly will be a 6-0, 6 up, no losses season with 3 next week. Woodbridge on Tuesday, South Plainfield, very tough South Plainfield on Wednesday, who really did a number on us, by the way, last year. And
they're always tough, yeah.
Well, we had just been defeated last year, I think, by Madison, and came right into the South Plainfield match, and we were a little bit down, hurting a little bit, had a few injuries, and to their credit, to South Plainfield's credit, they really put us away, is what they say. We'd like to get some of that back on Wednesday night.
Mike Beckman holding on to a 3-2 lead with 1:05 to go in the match. And they're going to call a stall against Beckman.
No points, just a warning. What they're saying is that you cannot just hold on to the wrestler. You must work to get him back down to the mat. And once you get him to the mat, you must work up to a pinning combination. You cannot hold just onto the legs or just wrap around the waist. You have to move. You know, he's got to either trip him, whoop, off the mat.
That's why those mats are out there.
That's why we put that auxiliary, that little supplemental mat next to it. Because these big guys need a little bit more room.
1 minute to go for Mike Beckman. He's got a 3-2 lead, but a very tenuous 3-2 lead. O'Donnell from Sayreville. And there it is, we're tied. You know, Mike's gonna have to work.
Yeah, he's got to take him down, John. Coach Zaleski hollering that to set him up, straighten him up, and then pull him Mike right down, and then get control. Well, let's see what he's going to try to do here. I've noticed the East Brunswick coach has been kind of quiet today.
Well, you know, we talked a little bit about Jay Doyle. One of the amazing things about Jay was he could sit there and never, by looking at him, you could never tell if his wrestler was winning or losing.
We never know if we were winning or losing. Always the same expression and always Mr. Class.
Yeah.
And we've tried to keep that a little tradition as much as possible, and certain personalities are different.
I think you have, and it's a credit to you and the coaches that you've had here over the years to keep this program alive and well.
Well, thank you. We're very proud of these coaches and specifically the wrestlers. Mike's got 13 seconds here to try to get him down on the mat.
If it goes to a tie, does it stay as a tie?
Stays as a tie. It's 2 points for each team, John.
Okay. 3 seconds. And Coach Cohn will come over now and want to talk with the official.
He's not too happy. They cautioned both wrestlers, and that was the second warning for stalling for Mike Beckman. So they awarded a point. I don't see, they haven't put it up there, but that was the indication from the official that there was a point awarded to Sean O'Donnell from Sayreville.
It has not been posted, though. He will be at the end.
He awarded it, though. They should have put it up.
It's up now.
Yeah.
So O'Donnell wins a 4-3 bout, and now it looks like another discussion will go on.
That's right, 4-3.
The two coaches.
You got a point, Coach.
And Coach Zaleski wanting that point put up there. And it was put up.
Yes. As I had indicated earlier on the second warning on stall, the point is awarded. And that's a tough way to lose a bout because it seemed to me that Mike was certainly working as hard as the Sayreville wrestler, and they were both struggling to get each other to the mat. So that's a tough loss for Mike.
The referee now is deducting 1 team point from East Brunswick. Apparently something was said on the East Brunswick side.
I don't think Mike was very happy with the call, but that doesn't make it, doesn't justify whatever was said, and we can't tell from here exactly what was said.
So we go to the last bout of the afternoon. That's the heavyweight for East Brunswick, junior Sean Smith against Sayreville's Rich Thurston.
Looks like both guys had breakfast this morning.
They don't miss many meals.
Not many meals. Sean's about 235, and Rich looks like he's a little bit heavier than Sean, so we're probably talking close to 240, 250 out there for Rich Thurston from.
I know I wouldn't want to get between them.
Definitely going to stay here for this bout.
Team score, East Brunswick 34, Sayreville 15, and that has been all but said and done long ago.
Well, Sean went in for the takedown and didn't finish it, but he looks nice move. Sean's had a great deal of quickness, John, for a big
surprisingly,
young
yes.
man. Yes. Oh, he had an excellent football season. Really came into his own. He's a junior, going to be back again next year. Very, very good athlete.
So Sean with a 2-0 lead, first period.
And it was Sean's big win against Cedar Ridge in the heavyweight, which put us over the top and sealed the victory against Cedar Ridge. So Sean's been a major part of this fine effort by the Bears this season. Long way to go, and expect that he'll continue to contribute. Pretty hard to hold those big guys.
Yeah. And Thurston thrown to the mat.
You can hear a thud when those 235, 250-pound young men go to the mat.
.50 seconds to go here in the first period. Smith against Thurston. This is the last bout of the afternoon, a heavyweight division, if you will.
Again, Sean has got to work up on his opponent and attempt to turn him. He's got to work for what they call a pinning combination. And he looks like he's trying to control his wrist and possibly slip a half in from the other side to turn him over. Several wrestlers, well, there he goes back to his base. He was kind of flat for a while there. And that's really how you want to keep him. If you're on top, you want to keep him flat to the mat.
I'm wondering if a stalemate will be called soon.
Yeah, or possibly even a stall on the Sayreville, the bottom wrestler. He's got to work to get out of there. He just can't. There's the warning.
Yep. At the end of the first period, a warning given to Sayreville.
For stalling, you must come up to your base, meaning you have to get up to your knees and attempt to get up on your hands. You cannot just lay on the mat.
So Sean Smith will take a 2-0 lead into the second period. And they're going to start from a standing position.
Well, you know, for two rather large young men, they worked pretty hard that first period. I've seen heavyweight bouts before that after 1 minute they were exhausted. Oh, he's going to try to throw there.
Good
nice
move by Smith.
Nice move, Smitty.
Can't get him down.
Now he's going to try to. Several wrestlers trying to throw Sean. That's a lot of weight to throw. Nice.
And he'll get 2 for the takedown. 4-0 lead. Sean looking across to Nick Malonis for some instruction.
I think Sean makes about 2 of 3 of Nicky, but
A good crowd here this afternoon.
yeah, nice crowd here this afternoon. We'd like to fill the place, but for a Saturday afternoon, it's very good. Actually, the basketball team is away this afternoon, and that takes a few people that way. And
Charlie, I noticed on the schedule as we watch Sean Smith on top and maintaining control that East Brunswick doesn't have many home wrestling matches. Is that just the free nature of the schedule this year?
well, it's the way the schedule falls out. That was a neutral position for, well, I don't know, he didn't award any points. Looks like there was a neutral and then a back in control. Still 4-0. Yeah, the conference schedules change every 2 years, and we're in the second end of the cycle. And 1 point warning for stalling on the Sayreville wrestler.
Thurston trying to get his way out of bounds.
If you remember, John, right at the end of the first period, there was a warning, and then again a warning, in which there was a point awarded after the second one.
All right, a point is awarded to Sean Smith. Should make it 5-0.
Sean was looking for the pin on that one there. Getting back to the schedule, John, sometimes it just, your conference schedule changes, and your outside matches, you try to get to offset any home and away imbalance that you might get in the conference schedule. And this year, we just happen to be away against some of our, like Union, for example, who we wrestle. And it created that imbalance. Next year, hopefully the imbalance will be that we'll be home a lot more.
5 seconds in the second period. Sean Smith with a 5-0 lead. And so we'll go to the final period of the day. East Brunswick Sayreville, heavyweight division. Smith against Thurston. Final 2 minutes.
We're going to start from the neutral position, John, and it looks like the Sayreville wrestler is getting a little bit tired.
Smith with the takedown.
Nice pick.
2 more. He's on his back, Thurston.
He picked that ankle beautifully, and was able to pick the ankle and put pressure on the shoulder at the same time to get him back down to the mat.
Smith with a 7-0 lead, but he's got Thurston's shoulders to the mat.
Thurston trying to survive here and get off the mat.
And he does.
3.
3 more to make it 10-0. Sean Smith.
And the official pointing to the Sayreville wrestler to get back into position, and got to pull his knee pads up, and I'm surprised he's not tying his shoe. Yeah, he's going to try to turn him here.
Interesting enough, Sean Smith's father is a graduate of Sayreville High School.
Yes, yes.
Sean's got him over on his back.
Oh,
that's
flat.
it.
He's
It's
flat.
over.
Yeah.
And we'll end today's match between Sayreville and East Brunswick with a pin by Sean Smith. And
Yeah,
so
nice.
the final team score, if you will, East Brunswick 40, Sayreville 15.
John did a nice job. You could see that the young man from Sayreville was getting a bit tired, and once you get in that position, and with Sean's strength and ability, just put him away. That's very interesting. John, I really enjoyed this today.
Different perspective for you up here.
Yes, it is.
We have Tom Cockles stop by here at the desk. We're
Tom
still on the air.
is our former trainer, was here with us for a number of years. Stopping by. It's nice to see Tom.
Okay. We have here Stu Cohn to my right, who's the coach of the East Brunswick High School varsity wrestlers, and to my left, Captain Walt Toto. And Stu, let me start with you first. Congratulations on the win. East Brunswick 6-0. Fine program.
Thanks, John. We're coming along. Each match, I think we're getting a little bit stronger, and hopefully we'll peak just at the right time.
Stu, you bring in a lot of organization, talking with Charlie King. You brought in Nick Malonis and John Mooney. How has that contributed to the team's success?
Well, I think one of the keys for the team is that the coaches all get along, and we all seem to think the same way, and I think it's helping out.
Not much more you can say.
Not too much more.
Okay, let me move over here rather to Walt. Walt, still undefeated.
Yes.
So far on schedule with your plans?
Yes, definitely. I'm looking to. I want to win the outstanding wrestler in the counties. That's something in the future I want to do. You know, and the main goal is for the team to do well in the sectionals, which is coming up very shortly.
Okay, you've got a tough one coming up, I guess, later this week or next week against South Plainfield. And you going to change your tactics at all?
No, definitely not. I'm going to stay like I usually do on my feet. And I think if I do that, I should be able to do well because the guy I beat from Madison has already beaten the guy from South Plainfield from my weight. And overall, I think the team should do well. If we win this, we'll be ranked in the state very highly.
Okay, East Brunswick improves their record to 6-0, a fine team, an outstanding match today against Sayreville. And for all those, Charlie King, who helped me this afternoon, I say thank you and have a good afternoon.